what I try to teach people is you already have business that is worth elevating, that you can make the branding better, make it run better, take care of your existing clients. I can't tell you how many people I've worked with who are out there catering to new people and not answering my emails, right? Like, we have forgotten, because it's not sexy. People don't talk about take good care of your clients and your network, and they'll take care of you.
I loved your story about courageous confidence. So I'd love to hear a little bit more about that, but really, where does confidence play a role in this idea of establishing yourself?
So courageous confidence is what I call one of the 4 key C's. So I imagine that having a coaching or consulting practice, any sort of service-based practice, most of us want to grow to the next level. We want more passion, more profit. We want to love what we do and have it love us back. To me, that's what it means to establish yourself. And I think people get tripped up on how to grow. And so part of there is an EST framework. There's 3 steps, EST. And to move from each step, to go upward, to push your business to that next level and have it be more of your greatest business, you need these 4 factors. I imagine they make up a key. And there's 4 C's, and the first one of those C's is what I call courageous confidence. And the reason it is such an important factor, and it's not creativity or capital, maybe something you would expect. I think it's such a big success and growth factor for coaches and consultants because it has to do with how much you own who you are. And I've been saying often, it's not in the book, but I wish it was, which is business is behavior. So if you are afraid to show people your website, guess what you're not talking up, right? If you're not confident in your services, guess what you're not selling, right? When you are not comfortable behaving in ways that support your business, you get shut down, right? And so a huge component to me is about believing in what you say and narrowing down, saying, I am the expert at this. I am great. Brene Brown says, like, owning our story is one of the bravest things we'll ever do. It's from her book, The Gifts of Imperfection. And in my book, I talk about embracing your story. That's the first step in all of this, is to embrace your story. And that has so much to do with not just being confident, but recognizing that being confident is an act of bravery. So there is this little jump or big jump you have to make to say, okay, I may have had this unorthodox path to becoming this coach or this consultant, but I am valuable. I am an expert. I do have value to add. I can charge what I'm going to charge. And I need to own that, because people can sense if I'm not. And because I am not going to love my business if I don't believe in myself, and my business isn't going to work unless I believe in myself. And that confidence has like this reverberation to it. And I tell my story in the introduction of the book that you just mentioned about where I was lacking in courageous confidence, and how taking that step toward doing that really opened so many doors and brought me to where I would say I'm in my greatest business today.
Well, how did that demonstrate itself? So when you were feeling like you weren't, like it wasn't coming across as confident as it should, what did that actually look or feel like when it was happening? Why wasn't it effective?
Yeah. So I think a lot of people can relate to the story I'm going to tell you, which is the short version of it that's in the introduction is basically I've started my practice and gotten away with just getting clients from Google for the first few years. And then it was crickets. And I didn't know what was happening. And I was like, oh my gosh, is, my business over? What's going on? And when I got really honest with myself, I realized what was really happening was I was not confident in my sales conversations. I was so done with so many newsletters, and we still get them today. I'm sure you have 10 in your inbox right now, pitching people and being the sleazy sales guy. I was so afraid to be that person that I'd run completely the other way. And I wasn't owning my story. I wasn't embracing my story with confidence. I wasn't coming off like the expert. I was like, I can do your branding, or you could do it. I just believe in you. Like, I just was so afraid to own my story because I don't have what I had perceived to be the perfect resume, the perfect reputation to be doing these things. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm a self-taught artist. I taught myself graphic design. I don't have formal writing training. I'm not a certified brand strategist. I felt like, imposter syndrome, right? And long story short, I met somebody, her name's Adele Michael, and she's a business mindset coach. And she said that she helped women sell without selling their soul. And I was like, sign me up, please. And I did not believe in coaching until I worked with her. And she really helped me to see this big problem that I had, which was truly just not owning my stories, owning the fact that I came to this from kind of a different angle and showing up as the expert with courageous confidence. Learned a lot more from her than that, implemented a lot more than that. But when I made that shift and started showing up and saying it, you know, it's okay to show up and say, you know, you might not be the certified brand strategist, but you learned branding at the Walt Disney Studios working on major films. Like, own that. You know, you may be new to business, but you are, you know, generations of Fleischmans and Franceschis have come before you and started businesses, and you are learning and pulling from that as well. And so there's so much in my story that I wasn't owning because I was so afraid about what like didn't add up, right? Didn't look like the perfect story. And I think that that's the gift that I have for people that I love to share, which is helping them to see how it all adds up, helping them to have courageous confidence often comes with having the tools and the story and how to say it, right? I have a way to say it because I wrote a book about it and a lot of other things that I've done, but hopefully that gives you kind of a picture of how confidence can really let you sail or really hurt you depending on where you are in your season of business.
But I think people do struggle with the beginning part the most because like how many businesses don't get started, but also how many coaches and consulting, paths that people take end up, not leading them back to corporate because they couldn't figure it out. This first piece, which what you were experiencing, I've experienced that myself as well. And I think when you start to look into it, like it's a leads and money thing. People just can't find a way to bring money into their business to get clients to continue to say yes. They run out of, what's close to them. So given that, what are some common mistakes you see them making when they're getting started in general? Could be getting leads or something else, but just when they're getting started, what are some common mistakes you see people running into?
Well, so I want to speak to this moment that I feel like you're saying, whereas like, they're trying, they're getting some momentum, but they can't continue it. It's not sustainable. And this book is truly written for the person that's a couple years into business that knows how to get clients, but like isn't growing, has like really reached that plateau moment and is like, do I go back to corporate? What do I do? And the thing is that I think so many coaches and consultants at all stages, especially the beginning and also at this stage, they are told constantly by marketers that marketing is everything, especially social media marketing, got to be everywhere all the time. You got to be on TikTok. You got to, even if that makes no sense for your business, right? All of those things this is what the marketing machine tells us. And one of the biggest reasons I wanted to write Establish Yourself is I tried that advice. It almost burnt me the heck out. And I said, you know what, forget this. I am going to flip it on its head. And I call this reverse revenue. So not thinking so much about, if you really want to optimize your practice, you're at this moment in time, it's not about more marketing. It's actually about making your business better and tapping into your existing relationships and network first. Because if you do that, if you go backwards to what most marketers teach, you're going to see results faster. They're going to be more sustainable. And then when you do get to the marketing step, it's going to work because it's all aligned. The problem with current marketing tactics is just throwing the spaghetti at the wall all the time. People aren't committing to ideal clients. They're changing their message every 5 seconds. They're like disappearing in a sea. Like I call it the tactic tornado. You get swept up in this tactic tornado, and before you know it, you are down the black hole of internet marketing, right? And so I'm trying to save people from that because I'm like, there are people that I know will spend a month building their latest webinar or chasing the latest thing. And I'll go, have you emailed like your top 10 past clients to let them know you have this new service? And they'll go, no. I'm like, are you willing to do that? No. Like people are going to hide. And what I try to teach people is you already have a business that is worth elevating, that you can make the branding better, make it run better, and take care of your existing clients. I can't tell you how many people I've worked with who are out there catering to new people and not answering my emails, right? Like we have forgotten, and nobody, because it's not sexy. People don't talk about take good care of your clients and your network, and they'll take care of you. Let them know what you're doing. There's a whole exercise in the book that happens before you would ever start a podcast or anything. That's literally like, do they know what I know? And it's a checklist to remind you, hey, have I, maybe you have this podcast. Does everyone in Brandon's network know about his podcast? Do all his past clients know about his podcast? Like maybe you have a new offer, like a new program. Does everybody in your world know about that? Maybe you should go tell them. How are they going to know? Right. So that's the idea, is like really teaching people more common sense ways that don't rely on funnels and ads and these things that can feel really mysterious to people who are just a few years in a business and have been doing kind of high ticket sales. Like, this is some really practical, actionable things you can do that you'll see results, and you don't have to live on social media. And it doesn't have to be all about that. And that is the message that everybody wants to hear from me, which is, oh, I don't have to make it all about social. I'm like, no, you don't. There's
Right.
plenty of room to grow.
I'm sure so many people are like, that's such a relief. Like,
Yeah, it's
I can,
huge.
I can get off the hamster wheel. And, I'll take the other road, because I do think that creating content is a huge part of growing your brand. But I think that the way to do that, people are missing this step. I think people are missing the operational side of how do you take a very little time to create some content and have it continually work for you over and over again every week, as opposed to what I think people do, which is they go straight to social media and they're posting. And posting, it's like you got to keep doing it over and over and over again. And it's a one-time, one-time action, as opposed to creating something that can be used over and over again, which, happens with like longer form content and repurposing and
Right.
systems
It
that make
totally
things
has that
faster.
role to play.
Love that. Well, you heard it here first, guys. Get clear, get moving, take action, and check out our friend Annie Franceschi when you get a chance. Check out her content, check out her website. And if you enjoyed the show, leave a little rating, review, and support us. That's all we got for you guys today. I appreciate you for listening, and catch you next time. Brands on Brands.